friends, so
Yo, what's poppin'? All my peeps, it is I, your host with the most Renaissance man, who always thinks he can, and your champion of the peeps, Patty Pitts, back once again in the Yard of Streams for another edition of Pitts and Sara's Wrestling Show, where we take no nights off. And it's not just me, Patty P, here in the Yard of Streams. I am joined, as always, by the best of the West. You can't forget about Sara Marshall. What's popping, girl?
Hey, yo.
hello.
Hey, yo. How we doing?
I'm already sweating. This is not good.
How hot is it there?
101.
Yeah, it was 108 yesterday.
Yeah, I know. You guys have been hotter. I mean, last week we got up to 118 and I think it was like 112. We're not going to get that warm until this weekend when we're back up to like 110. So,
damn, I did not like sitting in my car and reading 108 on the
I'm sure
dashboard. That was horrible. Thank God every activity I did yesterday was inside. Okay. That's why we got pedicures on our birthday instead of sitting at the beach. All right.
Yeah.
What do you think about men getting pedicures?
I don't really care. I think they should, because sometimes men's feet are actually disgusting.
Okay, good. All right, good. You're on the good. I concur. Because I would say before college, like right after I graduated, I was all right into it. But it's such not like an experience, like, it's an experience because like you're not getting your toes painted. You know what I mean? You're not getting your toes painted. You're just getting your feet cleaned. And most places that I have gone to so far have massage chairs. So you just sit in a massage chair, you sit on your phone or whatever you want to do for the amount of time. Sometimes they like conversation, sometimes they don't. And if they don't, that's why you can go on your phone and just, disassociate for, an hour or so while someone cleans you. Like, it's a hell of an experience.
I've never had a pedicure.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Sara, it's incredible. Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah, I don't. Okay, so this is the thing. Okay, I'm really. I guess I'm exposing myself here, but I have big feet for a woman, and so I feel like getting a pedicure or like painting my toenails like draws attention to my feet, and so I don't want people to look at my feet. You know what I mean?
No, I can totally understand that.
Yeah.
They don't care.
I'm a little like ticklish, so I also am like,
All right, how's little though? Like, what do you mean by little?
It's pretty tickle. Like, I couldn't just have someone like scraping my foot.
That's where you're gonna get really peeved out, just because it's ticklish. When they take the hard scrub to it, it gets the dead skin off. It's great. Your feet are so clean. But oh my God, it's so ticklish. I was like on my chair, like trying to get out like that.
Mm-hmm.
It was tough. I did like that. And then, no, I wasn't in an AC all day. We were out in the pool. You gotta love having a pool, Sara. It's the best.
Yes, we have a pool as well.
You need one out there. You need to just soak. But like the thing is, I feel like you don't want to heat it, obviously, or like the warmer. But what's the highest it goes up to, or you've been in it, it's gone up to?
I think the highest we've seen was like 96 degrees or something. It's basically a giant hot tub. But this is the thing, like, it's fun because like you can get right in, And
you're just running right in.
Right. But it's like obviously it's not super refreshing. because it's like, okay, it's like 115 outside and this is not that much colder, but it actually is like when you get out, there is that difference where you're like, oh, it's a little chilly, but
Okay,
like
so
those are the
really
moments
hot.
that I don't enjoy going in because, again, like I said, it's not refreshing at all. It's like it's a giant hot tub at that point, and it's like, why am I here? Like, why am I sitting in a giant warm tub thinking that this is cooling me down? And it's really not. So
Yeah, I agree with that. Let's hear from the peeps over in the chat. Nathaniel, if Adam Copeland turned heel and replaces Christian, I see more of an alliance. Nick Wayne's taking over the patriarchy. I see more of an alliance there, Nathaniel. Go Pats, baby. Yeah, it's hot as balls, Daniel. All right, it's hot as balls here, as I mentioned. It's 110 in Arizona, or will be this weekend. It's like 90 something here. When I went to bed last night, it was 85. Disgusting. Thank God for central air. So it's just brutal. But we're getting more rain this weekend. So
it was actually
yeah.
where David lives the other day than it was here, which was crazy.
That's wild.
I know, because he lives in Western Mass, so fake Mass, I say.
Sophia, happy belated. Thank you. Birthday was yesterday. And start going to the gym every Monday afternoon after work. Good shit. That's a good plan, Sophia. It's a very good plan. That's how you build a routine. That's great. Love to see stuff like that. What's up, bro? What's up, Sarah Marshall? How you doing? Happy June 24th. Happy Wednesday.
25th.
24th is yesterday. That's why it's my birthday.
Yeah.
Who do you share a birthday with, Sarah? Do you know any celebrities that you share a birthday with?
I know 2.
Okay, go.
Cope.
Ironically,
as if my life couldn't get any better. And Henry Winkler, aka the Fonz.
Hey.
I was so happy when I found that out when I was like a tiny child because I watched Happy Days and like my favorite movie. Okay. My favorite movie growing up and still to this day is Grease. So it like fits that era. So when I found out that Henry Winkler was I shared his birthday and then even now like he's still such a beloved celebrity, I'm like, I am obsessed. So I like to remember that instead of Edge.
Line to one. I have Messi and Shawnee, Beyonce's sister, or Shawnee Knowles. That's the only 2 I know.
Oh, interesting.
Messi's the GOAT. Share a birthday with the GOAT. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool, Sarah. And Dickie, there are so many injuries that we will definitely discuss on this episode of the Raw Rewind. All right. Before we get into it, hit that subscribe button, please. All right. Let's hit that subscribe button and bell notification to know every time we go live. Also, follow us on TikTok, No Nights Off Show, and our own personal social medias as well, at Patty Pitts and SMarshXO on X, Twitter, whatever. Instagram at Patty Pitts, because Sarah does not use it. Yeah, we got to get that follower up because we're at 1,000 now. We can go live on TikTok. Like, we could go live. We just attach it here. We'll figure out after this.
Yeah, I have to figure out how to do it because there's just like a specific way and I have to figure it out.
All right, we'll get to it, especially right now. We'll get to the action. Sarah, Seth Rollins calling out the Flippy Floppy fans opening up the show.
Yeah, so Seth Rollins comes out and of course everybody's going crazy. They're singing his song again because we still have not heard a new entrance theme despite all the rumors. That has not happened yet. But what I this is what I like because we've talked about this. The internet talks about this. That the fans in person are very fickle. They're very flip-floppy with how they respond to certain wrestlers. And Seth Rollins has definitely been at the top of that, I would say, recently. And he called them out because as he continued with his promo and who he wants to go after, blah, 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 he started getting boos and then he starts getting CM Punk chants and he like directly just calls the fans out and just like, you guys are confusing. I don't know what you want. One second you're cheering me, you're singing my songs, and next second you're booing and you're chanting CM Punk. Like, we're not on the same page. You don't know what you want. I don't know what you want. And I was like, this is one of those moments where I feel like I don't know, breaking down the fourth wall or whatever. It's like, that's a good moment to do that because we're all talking about it. We all see it. We all hear it. We experience it. And when it's then ignored, it's kind of like, why are we not talking about the elephant in the room? You know?
Oh, it's a great heel move for Rollins to do. And like for what the crowd is right now to get the most heat on him is just calling out their fickleness. I mean, they're just, we say it all right.
Fickle. They're fickle.
Fickle, Sara. But it's a live crowd. It's a live crowd. They're going to be singing every song that they can. They're going to chant everything that they can. That's the beauty of a live crowd. That's a beauty. Like, it's a little different online.
What I think the problem was, though, is like Seth has been a good guy. I mean, I would say he's been mostly a good guy, but kind of a tweener over the past few years, like since the last time he was like a full-blown heel. So people have been cheering for him. And then they pair him up with Braun Breaker, who, he was supposed to be a heel, but people were cheering for him because they like him and they, are excited to see what his future is going to be. People were also cheering for Bronson Reed before he got injured, even though he was on, Team Bloodline the last time we saw him. So then you put two guys that were being super cheered for with another guy that gets cheered for a lot. It's like you're asking for them to be booed because that's the direction you're trying to take the character in this new faction. But like people are excited that Braun Breaker is now in this group. People are excited that Bronson Reed is back. People are excited to see Paul Heyman with Seth Rollins. So it's like it's asking a lot when people don't want to boo them.
People are going to root for who they're going to root for. Doesn't matter what you do.
And then also Richard makes a good point about people are saying this. I guess I did see this after this segment, especially, and I guess I don't see what people are saying. Like I don't think that they're necessarily like gelling in the way that like the Shield did. But I feel like this group is still in its infancy, especially if we think about how Bronson Reed was literally just added 3 weeks ago. Like it's not like this group has been together for 6 months. But I also think that they kind of don't really know what they're doing with Seth. It almost feels like they're just waiting for other stuff to end so then they can put Seth somewhere, which kind of feels like they're probably going to be moving him to SmackDown. They might be having him cash in, we're probably going to see something like that. And then we'll see something more from this group that maybe makes it feel like they are more connected. You could even argue part of that could be because Roman's not around. We haven't seen the continuation of that story with Paul Heyman turning on Roman. And the easiest way of getting people to be against the Bronsons is to have them attack Roman or reuniting Roman with the Usos. And then it's like that 3-on-3 again, like that kind of thing would easily make them look like a more cohesive group. But again, I don't feel that way when I watch them. I don't know if you do. But.
No, I see them not as a group per se, but an alliance. It's all for Seth to be at the top of the throne and cash in Money in the Bank to be champion and rule over Raw. That's what I see from it. Braun and the Bronsons are not going to win the tag team titles in my eyes. I don't see that being in the future. This is all the focus is towards Seth cashing in Money in the Bank. That's what I see.
I mean, I feel like that's the only thing that makes sense at this point. It just feels like, making him the Money in the Bank winner made sense given the group that was there and the storyline potential that Seth came with. But it really does look like they're waiting on something to happen, or they're waiting for the right time to do something with him. And I get it. They don't have plans for him at Night of Champions. And then we don't know who he's going to face at SummerSlam yet, but it's also like, okay, but maybe something's going to happen at Saturday night's main event, or maybe he's going to do something at SummerSlam. Maybe he has a match on night 1 on SummerSlam and then he cashes in on night 2. Like, it just feels like they're waiting. And I think that's part of why it's also like maybe not clicking for people. I don't know.
I believe people are reading way too into it.
I think people are impatient. We've learned that, you know?
Yes. You need the immediate gratification. It's fucking brutal.
We can look at the John Cena situation because we didn't get to talk about his promo from SmackDown.
Oh, it was brilliant. Oh my Lord. The pipe bomb. This pipe bomb V2 was incredibly well done.
People knocked him for doing a pipe bomb, like replicating CM Punk.
Idiotic.
But like, I would say that is like a prime example of people being impatient. And I'm not saying that people's criticism of Cena's retirement tour have been far-fetched. Like, I understand it hasn't been consistently great every single week. I'm not arguing that it has. However, all of what we've seen so far led to that moment that we're all going to remember for a long time. It's not necessarily as iconic as the original pipe bomb. However, the way they set it up and the way that he spoke and everything that he said, and it was like the most relaxed promo that we've ever seen from Cena, and it might go down as one of his best ever because of that reason. And it's like all of that led to that. So like, I can't be mad that, you know, everything since basically Elimination Chamber hasn't been good, because if all of that hadn't happened, we might not have gotten that moment. And so far people are like excited about what Cena is going to do now going forward because of that.
That's what I mean. Like, immediate gratification. You can't have it, because if you did, this pipe bomb on SmackDown would not have meant as much. Like, it feels like this story between Punk and Cena, the Saudi match, of course it's in Saudi Arabia, the one place that CM Punk vowed he would never go to wrestle for a company he would never return to take down the company's ultimate hero. It plays so well into the story. It's like, yes, this is real life, but it's also, you know, just them putting in the pieces there. And the promo itself, he's become Mr. TKO. Like, just a great line.
I think the most interesting part about it, of course, is just that they are on opposite sides of the argument this time. And I think maybe part of the reason that some people were impatient or whatever is, especially in this scenario, is they weren't around for the Summer of Punk. That's one thing that I feel like kind of irritates me about this whole scenario, because there were so many people reacting to it and either just like didn't get it or were criticizing him for, like I said, replicating the original pipe bomb. But you weren't there for the first one, brother.
They weren't.
Like, and it's fine. It's fine that you weren't there and that you watched it 5 years later or 10 years later when you started getting into wrestling. But let's stop.
And they don't know the context. They've only watched the clip of the pipe bomb, but did not live the story. Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Or
they did not live the story.
That. Yeah.
Like, Punk was legitimately leaving the company.
Yeah, it's like everything that led up to that and everything after that. It's like, I don't know. That's one thing that I like. I don't want to be a gatekeeper, or I don't want to say that people can't be fans when they organically become a fan. The problem that I have is when people pretend to have been fans of something longer than they have, or pretend like they know about something when they didn't. Like, it's totally fine for you to say that you only started watching wrestling during the pandemic. But you don't have to then act like, you know, I was there in 2011 and 2012 for the pipe bomb in the Summer of Punk. No, you fucking weren't. You watched it on Peacock. You know, like, there's no reason to lie. Okay.
Immediate gratification. Yes, it is almost July, and Cena has only 16 more appearances left. But
hopefully they're going to make it count.
Gotta let it play out.
Hopefully
that's what I'm saying. Like, when you watch a movie, they don't just throw everything, front load everything, and then the ending just like, there.
Well, and like I said, when we've talked about this before, I think it wouldn't matter what Cena did on his retirement tour not necessarily you directly, DS, but I think that people who are complaining about his run right now would be complaining about whatever he was doing. If he was doing the complete opposite, if he was doing the babyface thing, he was just like coming in here being super
It'd be
Cena,
so
y'all would
dull.
bitch. You would be complaining
Bitch.
about the same thing. So it's like, I don't think, and like I said, even if he turned heel, let's say The Rock was more involved, let's say that he was going full blown, I'm kicking everyone's ass, people were bleeding, he was bleeding, people bleed everywhere, y'all would bitch about it too. So that's the thing, is like, I feel like there's just nothing that he could have done that would please everybody. It really feels like no matter what Cena did at this point, people were going to have a problem with it. So it's like, he's going to do what he wants to do. And at this point, he's saying that he's having a lot of fun. So
Exactly.
I'm
That's the whole point of it. This makes it a lot more fun.
Yeah. And at least it's interesting because we don't know what's going to happen. I don't think anyone
have
would have
no
predicted 6 months ago that, first of all, that he would have been a heel, or that he would be cutting a Pipe Bomb 2.0 in the exact same way, almost nearly identical to the way that it happened 15 years ago. So, like,
He did sell way too long, though. I thought it was a little bit too over to sell.
Who, Punk?
Yeah, like
I thought it was
roll out
funny.
of the ring, roll the man out of the ring.
He had to keep doing what Cena did. I was here for it. I liked it. I thought it was fine.
Right.
Okay. Anyway, moving on. So Penta is back because he's been kind of MIA the last couple weeks. First of all, where's his brother from SmackDown? What's going on there?
Well, he's on a separate show.
I know, but where is he? He's not been on SmackDown that much. That's the whole point of what I'm saying. But we saw him versus Braun Breaker because Penta has inserted himself into some drama, some feud with the Bronsons and Seth Rollins. So we saw this, and it was a good match. And Penta took another loss, which I think was the right decision, honestly. I know that might be controversial to some people, but if you're trying to build up Seth's group and the Bronsons as being legitimate, scary dudes, then they need to beat somebody like Penta. So I enjoyed this match. I enjoy watching Braun Breaker. I enjoy watching Penta. So the fact that this happened on Raw is fine with me.
What I liked about this match is when you have a guy's size and speed, athleticism, as you do Braun Breaker across the ring from a guy like Penta, Lucha Libre, and their styles don't clash. You have a guy, not the same size, but a similar build to a Brock Lesnar, Yeah. And I don't, and a bigger guy too. But point is, like, you couldn't have that type of match early. It was a very good match for the speed that their styles meshed together well. I lost my point because I got so hyped. But no, yeah, I lost my point. But I did like this match, and I liked.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't really do anything for their story, but it allowed Braun Breaker to like have a match and actually do something instead of just barking, Because
I do love the barking, though. I love the barking.
That's apparently controversial too, according to the internet, because people think that like WWE is making him do that and that he looks stupid. I don't know. I'm just telling you what I'm seeing.
No, Sarah. I know. I'm not. This is not to you. This is to the peeps. So, but like, do you know that that's what his dad did?
I know.
In WCW.
Yeah, I know.
Family thing.
Yeah.
Wrestling has more than one royal family.
Also, I highly doubt that WWE is sitting there in the writer's room and being like, all right, let's put in this part right here where Braun barks. Like, I could not one part, but there's like, yeah, let's have him bark. Yeah.
Just have him bark for like a little bit. Just have him bark at him.
So, okay, moving on. So because Night of Champions is this weekend, we thought we were going to see some more additions to the card because, I mean, I think going into Raw, there was only like 3 or 4 matches or something crazy. And one of them was supposed to be Daddy Dom versus AJ Styles for the IC title, but we find out without really any explanation that match was scrapped. Adam Pearce says that Dom didn't want the match, basically, or was like backing out, and then there was like injury rumors floating around about Dom, but they say that there's nowhere that I've seen that has claimed that he's injured. And I feel like we kind of deserve more of a legitimate explanation than Dominic allegedly saying he's not putting his title on the line, because like what kind of BS is that? That's not like every champion. Okay. Does he really though?
I want confirmation by Fightful about that.
Because I've seen a lot of rumors claiming that he has an injury.
Before I believe
I don't know. Regardless, I'm kind of bummed about this because I thought this was going to be a good match. And, you know, as people have been saying, there aren't that many championship matches on Night of Champions. But see, I reserve my frustration about that because that has been the case several times with Night of Champions. And I think that it's going to become a thing moving forward because they put King and Queen of the Ring on Night of Champions. So it's like whoever wins those matches are going to be going after champions. So they probably will not be having those champions having a match on the same card. So that's what it feels like to me. But it would be nice to have like an IC title match the way that they're having a US title match with Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa, but instead we're gonna have to wait on that. And I don't think that we don't know when this match will happen now.
Yeah, it's sad because this, as I mentioned last week, this match would slap. This match would go hard. They would be flying all over the ring. We'd see vintage Styles moves. I'd love to see Dom get hit with a Styles clash. You know, like it'd be great.
Did he really say that? Did AJ really say that? Did he really say that? I mean, I wouldn't be mad. To be fair,
I was going to save all that talk for the Thursday show, but I am with him. Nope. I mean, with everything going on, I don't blame anyone.
I wouldn't either, honestly. I mean, I get it. We're not getting political. We're not talking about anything like that, but like, I would not blame certain wrestlers for saying, you know what, I just don't want to go because either I don't feel safe or something just doesn't feel right. You know what I mean? Like, no matter what side of the aisle you're on or how you feel about what's going on or what's not going on, like, we talk about wrestlers' safety a lot. And if people feel like this is not something safe for them, I feel like they should have that right to do that. So it's totally possible that some of them didn't want to go because of that reason, because I mean it can be scary, you know, like we don't know, but yeah, anyway, yeah, I agree, Jackson. I don't blame him. I guess PW Insider is the one that is saying about Dom, but that it's not serious enough that they would have to strip him of the title. So oh yeah, they could save AJ versus Dom for Saturday night's main event. That would be cool.
See, that makes sense. I would like that. I would like that very much. That's a good Saturday night's main event match.
Yeah, that would make sense, I feel. Okay, sorry. My boss just said something funny to me. Okay. Anyway, so we haven't seen a whole lot of progression between Grayson Waller and Austin Theory over the past couple of weeks, other than these random backstage segments where they're either arguing in the background or chatting with somebody in the background, or, you know, Grayson Waller posting that clip of Theory shaking Dragon Lee's hand. So it looks like they're doing all of this setup for this inevitable babyface turn for Austin Theory, which has taken like 2 years. 2 years too long, I would say. But we did get the official introduction of Grayson Waller as a part of the New Day, because dude was in Pierce's office and was hyping up the New Day, saying their catchphrase and stuff, and then just leaves.
I think he's a wannabe. I think he wants to be a New Day to get away from Theory. He's trying to prove a point. Sara, I think something's there,
but
I don't think it's all too genuine.
So this is the issue that I have, because like, you know, if this is just something that they're trying to do to set up the eventual, or at least you hope would be the eventual Waller versus Theory, whatever. However, if that's not what this is, I don't want them to keep putting Waller with people. There's a reason why Waller was so good in NXT, and he did not have to be in a tag team. He did not have to be in a faction. This dude was like And that's the thing. Let's not forget, before they put A-Town Down Under together, dude was getting the Grayson Waller. It was a Grayson Waller experience. What was it? Experience?
Grayson Waller
effect. He was doing it almost every week. He even was doing it on PLEs. So we know that this dude is capable of being a singles guy, putting on good matches, and getting under people's skin. Like, there is no reason for him to now have to be attached to the New Day, who also haven't been doing jack shit since they won the tag titles. So how is this benefiting Waller in any way? Like, that's the thing that irritates me.
I'm interested in seeing him paired up with New Day for a bit, because it could be, I'm seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. This is the culmination of it. Waller seems like he needs a posse to be cooler than thou with, in theory, just isn't living up to that. He wants to be more like the New Day as a tag team. There's a lot there that they could dive into.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point, if it's not the New Day, then just do it off camera. You know, just don't even.
Well,
it's not worth it. But
I think I just don't really understand the point of having to have anyone else involved in Waller and Theory breaking up. Like, I don't really.
I do
get
for
that.
New Day. I do for New Day. Anyone else, not really.
You know what would be cool?
What?
If this is a way that they bring back Big E. They bring back Big E and pair him with Theory.
As a manager?
Or he can wrestle. Remember? Because we thought that was kind of what they were hinting at.
Maybe.
So regardless, no matter what, because
Big E in a manager
Theory
role.
has been going on this positivity kick. And that is literally Big E's plan.
That's what I think. He's posting all these videos of self motivation.
Mm-hmm.
You know, positive, all that.
That's Big E. So I would almost okay, you know? But still, that still is not great for Theory because it's 3 versus 1. But still, I mean, that's the only way that I can kind of connect this.
You
in
can
a way
go away
that
from
might
it. You can go to another show. You can go to another show.
Yeah, I guess. They really need to work on the Raw tag team division. They, for some reason, they don't, like you said, they don't like to book the LWO. New Catch Republic, we haven't seen really at all since Pete Dunne cut his hair, especially. War Raiders are never on, even though they get a lot of excitement out of the fans in their matches. Have barely seen the Creeds. And they were supposed to be a big deal when they got brought up. So it's like there is talent on the Raw tag team division, very similar to what they have on SmackDown. They just don't care about the Raw tag team division the way that they do on SmackDown. And I don't get it. I don't get it at all. Yeah. Anyway, no, it is not Butch. It is Pete Dunne. It is Pete Dunne.
Don't call him Butch. He doesn't like that. Don't call him
It's
Butch.
funny because when I watched Clash of the Castle 2022, he was Butch. He was still Butch.
That is crazy.
Anyway, moving on to Michael Cole's interview.
Yeah.
Sorry. Oh, anyway, the Michael Cole interview with Goldberg, which apparently might be like a one-time thing, because I think from what I read, Goldberg is penned in to show up for almost every single episode of Raw between now and that Saturday night's main event, with the exception of one. There's one that he's apparently not going to be at. I don't really know what they're going to have him do on that many episodes of Raw, if we're being honest. But I guess it's good that he'll be showing up, and that gives Gunther something more to do or more to talk about than him just like cutting promos every single week to the camera because his opponent doesn't show up. But what I thought was interesting about this, and I think it was somebody on Busted Open that said this, and I can't remember if it was Busted Open or it wasn't, but they were talking about how they weren't fans of the direction of Goldberg's character in this moment. They feel like he should have came in as a more like humble, guy that's kind of just trying to have his last match. Like, he just wants to go out, against a top guy. Like, this is just his last hurrah, just doing it for his family, and like taking that approach as opposed to what he is doing, which is like, oh yeah, I'm fucking Bill Goldberg. Like, I went undefeated. Like, I'm gonna kick Gunther's
you don't
ass.
disrespect me. Yeah, you don't disrespect me. Type. Not the humble. Take it easy.
So, but what I thought was interesting, right? Like, I understand that argument, especially when you're going against a cocky heel that is like, I'm better than everybody. Like, you're not on my level in Gunther, because that's what he does. But I feel like Goldberg doesn't know what he wants to do, because in the interview, he is being arrogant and, being like, I need to remind people who I am. But he's also like, I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing this for my son, and I want to do it in my hometown, or, whatever. It's like, so he's trying to be both, but it doesn't work. It's like, you need to pick one. We can't get both. But I feel like it's because Bill Goldberg is not a character. I think that's a problem. Bill Goldberg is not a character in wrestling. It's just Bill Goldberg.
It will always be Goldberg. I would like to see a little bit more humble. The interview was good. More humility. The interview was good. I didn't like how the problem is that I didn't like how he goes, and I'm going to kick the shit out of Gunther. That's where you're gonna lose people, and the humility would have been nice. Like, to say he's gonna kick the shit. Like, no one's believing that, man. You know what I mean? Like, Gunther is going to chop the living hell out of you for about 5 minutes, and then he's gonna roll you up. Have you seen the combined the average time of Gunther's last matches in WWE since 2016? The first one?
I sent it to you. Yeah, didn't I send it to you?
Oh, I saw it on like Cultaholic or something.
Yeah, they're all like, the longest one is like 12 minutes or 14 minutes or something.
It was Bobby Lashley.
Yeah,
it was 14 minutes. It was like his second to last match. Everything else was under 6 minutes.
Yeah, and we're talking about what his last match was like 5 years ago or something like that,
against the Fiend.
Yeah,
or something. Like, I gotta get this. I wish I had it up.
This match is not going to be long. I think that it's just going to be the classic of, we're going to see Goldberg maybe put Gunther down at the beginning, and he'll come out strong. Or maybe we see Gunther doing that, and then we get super Goldberg in the middle where you think maybe he's going to have a chance, and then Gunther puts him away. I feel like it's the only thing that's acceptable, no matter if you like Gunther or not. Because the match isn't going to be very long, which isn't necessarily, in my eyes, very fair to Gunther, because Gunther puts on such good matches. He deserves more than 5 minutes, especially for a title match. But I feel like, this is 58-year-old Goldberg who has he was winded by the time he got to the stairs of the ring, and he almost fell trying to get on the ropes. He's got like a bum knee. So like, this isn't gonna be great, but I don't know. It's interesting to say the least, right? Like, I guess.
I'll call it interesting.
I'm not saying it's a good interesting, but
we didn't say that. We said the word interesting. You
Yeah.
take that how you please.
Yeah, I can't say like anything else about that. DS is not a fan of Triple H or Goldberg, so take note of that. Oh, I just did that. I meant to delete that. Anyway, so we did find out that, yes, there is confirmation that Liv Morgan is going to be out for at least 6 months. Allegedly, it will take surgery to fix her shoulder. So we saw the Judgment Day in the back. Kind of solemn, mostly, besides Finn. Besides Finn.
Yeah, what was that?
Finn did not give a fuck, okay?
No, he didn't care at all. It was awesome.
You notice that right away. The other thing you notice is that they hijacked Carlito's PS5 because they were back to playing 2K.
Oh no, that stayed. That was Judgment Day property.
No, they did not have it the week after he got released. So people said it was Carlito's PS5. I'm just saying.
Fun fact:
saying.
it was Liv Morgan who brought the PS5 into the Judgment Day clubhouse.
Well, I'm just saying. So obviously Dom is not happy because his love, his bae, his guarita is gone. And Raquel is not thrilled because she's thinking that she's going to have to relinquish the tag titles for like the 18th time. But Finn is like, hey, it's fine. You know, Dom, you're going to have that match with AJ, and me and JD McDaddy are going to be going after the tag titles. And then Raquel, no, like, you're the tag team champions by yourself. And Roxanne is going to go be queen of the ring. Like, we've got this, blah, blah, blah. So he's still trying to manipulate them. He also had a sly comment that he made to Raquel. And he's like, I was just saying that to get you fired up, girl. Like, yeah, we're in this together. So they're definitely trying to make plans for what is going to happen because Liv is obviously gone. They've already kind of said, we saw later in the show, which I guess we could talk about that. We saw Raquel call out Rhea, and then Roxanne came to her aid. So just like we kind of, I think that we talked about this, last week?
We did, yes.
Yeah, we're getting Roxanne is going to step in and be the tag team champion with Raquel to continue their reign as the women's tag team champions. And I'm actually okay with that because I feel like it makes sense. Roxanne and Liv are like, they're both tiny little girls, so they got tall and small still going on with Raquel. And I think that adds another element to the Judgment Day story that Liv can come back from, you know, because that can be like, oh, Raquel is turning her back on me or whatever. Because I'm still trying to hope that they're not going to do that with Dom.
Did you see the hug that Raquel gave to Roxanne? Like, there's
But also, remember
some warm feelings.
Last week, when Liv came to the to the back, and she said something to Raquel, and Raquel was like, when she walked away. So something was already brewing before Liv got hurt. So it feels like something was going to happen anyway. Obviously, they have to, pivot to something different because she can't be there. But I think, I don't know. I think this is an interesting something to do other than what we thought the obvious was having Roxanne and Dom get together. I kind of like maybe Raquel being the ultimate
that
betrayer.
Seems more agreed.
Yeah, it's different. It's different than what we've seen before because one of the arguments was that we don't want to see the Dom Roxanne thing because we've already been there, done that. We don't need to see it for a second time, even if it could be good, because I do think that that could be a decent story, even though I don't want to see it. I don't think that they need to revisit that again. I really don't. But we also saw from this, because of their attack on each other, that Raquel and Rhea are taking each other on in a street fight at Night of Champions. That was like completely unexpected, but it feels like, all right, something's going on. Whatever we were planning on doing at Night of Champions can't happen. We want Rhea on the card. Saudi wants Rhea on the card. And I think that it makes sense that they put a stipulation on this because otherwise it wouldn't have. This wouldn't make any sense. Like, why are they fighting? What and for what reason? But the fact that they made it into an actual stipulation, I think that's interesting, especially because it's women.
Yeah, it's the end all to their feud that they've been having for the past few weeks. Raquel costs Rhea costs Raquel, and we've already had some bad blood from the Liv Morgan Revenge Tour. This is a nice match to culminate everything.
Yeah.
I drink my water.
So yeah, we'll see, but obviously I think something is going to come out of that match. But speaking of the women, we had the Queen of the Ring semifinals happen between Jade Cargill and Roxanne Perez. And we already know from watching SmackDown that Asuka was in the finals. So whoever won this was going to be facing Asuka at Night of Champions. And I cannot stress enough, and maybe I'm in the minority here, I was legitimately shocked that Jade won. I was too.
No, I really was.
I thought she had. We're quoting a legend here. I thought she had no chance in hell. I was like, it's Roxanne versus Asuka because we're gonna get Roxanne versus Io, and maybe that was what their plan was. Maybe before Liv got hurt, I would not be surprised if that was what it was, because obviously that then furthers that story, right? And like Roxanne versus Io, that'd be fire. But now we're getting Jade versus Asuka. And that got a lot of mixed reviews, like a lot of reactions.
It's going to.
But
I know.
I will say, and I have been hyping Jade, and I'm not hyping Jade. However, I do think that some of the complaints that people have about matches that Jade is in are valid, because it feels like you cannot watch a Jade Cargill match without there being a mistake in there or multiple mistakes, and it's like painfully obvious. Like she's not very good yet at like covering up the mistakes, or not having it stand out as much, you know what I mean? Because like mistakes are going to happen, obviously, so that's why it's like, okay, you can't really fault somebody for a botch, because it's going to happen. Shit happens. However, I think it's like, I don't know, in this match it was just like, you knew there was just those like awkward moments where it's like, oh shit, like okay, that wasn't supposed to happen. So like I feel for her, because I do think that she is held to a really high standard, so like she isn't forgiven for those mistakes that other people make.
It's all about the dance partner. It's all about the dance partner in the ring, and putting her up with Asuka will be a huge test on how well she has developed.
I think part of it also is like, she hasn't been put into a position to make mistakes and it be okay, because she came from AEW, who propped her up almost immediately. She was a dominating champion.
Gave her the screen, gave her the time.
Then she comes to WWE and they're treating her like a megastar from the beginning. And they hype her up and they have her debut and she's doing this and she's doing that. And it was like they pair her with Bianca Belair and make her a tag champion. It's like there is no room for error in people's eyes when it comes to Jade. So then when it does happen, she gets shit on way more, on top of the fact that she's a woman, because I've talked about this before. Men do not get nearly as much shit talk when they mess up in a match the way that the women do. And it could be somebody like Asuka that is like incredible, Io, whatever, like incredible in the ring, and if they mess up or something happens, they get shit on like there's no tomorrow. And so because of everything that is working for and against Jade, she gets the short end of the stick a lot more when she obviously messes up. So that I do think is unfair. Although I do still feel like she could benefit from like spending maybe a little bit more time in NXT. I don't know. We'll see. But clearly they're trying to do something with her. And she definitely has a chance to beat Asuka because of her storyline with Naomi. So you could see Jade facing off with Tiffany Stratton at SummerSlam. Because if we're being real, Tiffany ain't doing shit on SmackDown with that championship. Nia just lost her Queen of the Ring qualifying match, and now she's having another title match with
the blood
Tiffany.
feud. They still have unfinished business.
Well, what I'm saying is they clearly don't have anything like planned for Tiffany. So I would not be surprised if they had Jade beat Tiffany, Naomi cashes in, and then that gets their feud going. I could see that. We could also see Asuka win, and then we get Asuka Io at SummerSlam, which I think that is more profitable.
Asuka Io. That's the thing. It wouldn't be Asuka versus Tiffany. It would be Asuka Io, and that's what the people want to see.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I think that is what more people would be excited about that than Tiffany versus Jade. You know, like, even though I think that would entice people because they both are like powerhouses, I don't think it does not compare at all to Asuka Io. Like, and we didn't think, I don't think anyone really thought that they were going to see that because they were in Damage Control together. So it was like, yeah, we're not going to get them, but
that's just real girl graps right there.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Here is Brother Nero. I don't understand people who want Dom to cheat on Liv with Roxy. It doesn't make sense. What about Finn versus Dom? It would be a copy of the story from a year ago. Yeah, I actually really like Dom and Liv together. Like I said, I understand the argument that people might have that Liv and maybe even Dom have outgrown the Judgment Day. So I'm not opposed to like the Judgment Day breaking up or kicking them out, right? But I think they're so good together, and there's such, I don't know,
They're
like
fantastic together.
they're so, the way that they feed off each other and just
Mhm.
like the interactions that they have, it's so easy for people to hate them. And I think that they've elevated each other, you know? So I don't know, they just came out with another new shirt for them too. So it feels like so stupid for them
They're
to not continue to capitalize on that. Why would a heel do bad things? I don't know. I think it's just more of like, if we're gonna do something to make Dom do something bad, or like to betray, I guess, Liv, people just don't want to see the same thing that happened with Rhea and how he got with Liv. It's like there's probably some other sort of way, and I'm not trying to argue what that is, because I don't know at this moment, but it feels like there is probably a more creative way for him to go about that, rather than just doing exactly what they did a year ago. You know, it was almost exactly a year ago. But anyway, Gunther. Because Bill Goldberg just did an interview this week, they wanted to make sure that the World Heavyweight Champion was seen on TV. And Gunther did, I think he cut his Italy trip short because he was in Italy with Ludwig and he was there on Raw. So okay, I'm sorry, I'm tongue tied, but like, this is what I've been wanting from
Gunther. You're a little tongue tied.
Yes. This is what I've been wanting from Gunther for forever. I want to see this side of Gunther. It's the same thing of like the way that he beat the shit out of Jimmy. That's the kind of Gunther that I want. This is the attitude of Gunther I want. I want him to talk like this. I want him to have promos like this. Like, I want this. And the thing is like, we talked about Fickle fans all the time. Fickle ass fans, dude, because he comes out, people are booing, and then as he's talking, they start cheering for him.
Yeah, because he captivated the people.
It's also, I think, because he's going against Goldberg. So like, even though
no one wants to see Goldberg win. No one wants to see Goldberg win.
Well, but the thing is, they were chanting Goldberg. So it's like, again, fickle ass fans, because I'm like, they're cheering for Goldberg. They cheer for Goldberg the week before. Now, it's why Gunther even he responded to it and being like, "Oh yeah, no, I've already, been there, done that, whatever." And they're cheering for him this week, and then he's talking about how he wants to like beat his ass, and they're all like, "Yay!" And I'm like, what is going on? Because people do not cheer for Gunther. The only other time I can remember that happening was when they put him against Dom.
Yeah.
And that was like at the height of booing Dom.
When Gunther said that usually being next by Goldberg means getting speared out of your boots, jackhammered, and waking up looking at the lights. Goldberg is the most destructive man of his time, but it's not 1999 anymore, and it's 2025. That was a hell of a line.
Iconic.
That was a hell of a line.
This is the thing. People do not realize, because I get it. I'm biased. I admit this all the time when I talk about Gunther. Okay, like, I'm not trying to hide that. But I guess when I hear the things that people say about him as a criticism, I don't care if you don't like Gunther. That's totally fine. I think it's just when you criticize somebody, it better be valid. So, like, people who say that Gunther can't cut a promo, he can, when given the opportunity and given the correct material. If you're going to have him feud with Jey Uso for 3 months, you're going to have him feud with Damian Priest for 3 months, and it's like they have 1 or 2 matches in that time or whatever. It's like, yeah, there's not a whole lot of material to go off of, and that's why he was repeating himself each and every week. It's not like the guys that he was cutting promos against were saying anything different than he was. They were just saying the opposite. So it's like, I hope that we don't get stuck in that again, because there are what 2 weeks, 3 2 2 or 3
more
weeks.
weeks.
Yeah, until we see this match.
Mhm.
So I'm hoping that we don't go down that rabbit hole again of being like, oh god, okay, here they go. Goldberg's out here saying, I'm just gonna spear you, and Gunther's like, no, you're not. And it's like, okay, cool. And by the time the match comes around, we don't care. Like, I don't want that to happen. But yeah. Okay, Jay wants to see Goldberg win, but I mean,
I'm not shocked at that.
I mean, either.
I'm not shocked.
To
at
be
that
fair,
at all.
if we saw Jay versus Goldberg, I'd probably want to root for Goldberg. So, anyway, moving on to, okay, hold on. First of all, I came across a thirst trap, like a thirst video for Sami Zayn, and I could not stop like laughing to myself because it was like NXT Sami Zayn. So when he had like the short hair and like the short, cleaner beard, and this girl was it was a guy, I think. And he was saying like, why didn't anyone tell me about this era of Sami Zayn? And being like, oh, he's a daddy. That was like the song. It was like, will you be my daddy? Whatever that TikTok song is.
Yeah.
And I was just laughing because I'm like, how do you not know about this era of Sami Zayn?
It was a different era. Not my favorite Sami Zayn era, but
oh yeah. I also just learned that my favorite match of all time is also one of his favorite matches of all time that he has been in. So I was like, that's pretty cool.
Oh, the Nakamura.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that Nakamura match.
Yeah, because there was that little kid that was like interviewing wrestlers at Fanatics Fest, and he was asking them all like, "What's your favorite match that you've been in?" And Sammy's like, "Oh, I have a ton." And then he said, basically all of the ones that he's had with Kevin.
Yeah.
He's like, Shinsuke, and I was like, Sammy knows ball.
Sammy knows ball. Sammy knows ball.
So anyway, because Sammy failed to qualify for the King of the Ring because he lost to Randy Orton on SmackDown, he has nothing to do for Night of Champions. He has no plan or anything for SummerSlam. And so he's being interviewed backstage, being asked about him losing. And I was like, oh my God, because I love Sammy, but oh my God, I'm so sick of this Sami Zayn.
It's hilarious how you're just so sick of Sami Zayn week in and week out, pouring out his heart to the WWE universe.
I just don't care. I just don't care, bro.
He's speaking from the heart, Sara.
But every single week he's just saying the same thing. I just don't care. So I was sitting there and I was like, all right, he's getting interviewed. That's fine, because he's a Raw superstar. He lost on SmackDown. We haven't heard from him yet. Okay. And I'm just sitting there being like, Carrion, show up, Carrion. Carrion, show up, Carrion. And then he finally shows up and I was like, hell yeah, brother. And
that pop too.
Yeah.
Good pop.
First of all, love the pop. Second of all, love that he's supporting his wife by wearing her t-shirt. Third of all, Scarlett is such a babe.
It's a man.
Scarlett's a babe. But I loved this interaction. I love that Sammy finally was just like, I have had enough of you, and legitimately looked like he punched him in the jaw. And agrees to have a match with Carrion, which is happening at Night of Champions. Now, the online reaction to this was overwhelmingly positive. And I always like to point that kind of stuff out because it is not often that wrestling fans, but especially the IWC, agree on something. Almost universally. Obviously, there are people who don't give a shit about this match, and there are people who are like, I don't want to see this. I get it. That's
weak minority.
Yes, but the vast majority of people are so excited that this is happening. They are so excited that Carrion is getting a match on TV, but not only that he's getting a match on a PLE. Okay, because this is the first PLE I think that he's been on since WrestleMania. Is it since WrestleMania 40?
I think it is. Wait, Sammy? Oh, no, Karrion Kross. Karrion Kross. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, so 40. A year and a half almost. So I want to just embrace that and just be happy about that, But I hate to think of the fact that this was probably a last second addition to the show because other stuff fell through.
Oh, it is.
I hate to think about that because I just want to be excited about this match finally happening and Carrion getting a shot on TV, I want to embrace that. I want to be excited for that. But it's hard because then I just sit here and I'm like, bro, like if Liv were around, this probably wouldn't be happening. Or if Dom was actually having a match,
This
this
is
match
what
wouldn't
happens
be
when you
happening.
pivot.
So yeah, yeah, I think this is a feeling that I think a lot of what people are saying, and it's mostly because people think that Karrion is not a great in-ring performer, and I'm not suggesting that he is fantastic, but I don't think he's bad. You know, I think that like people remember some of the worst matches, obviously, because if we don't get to see a lot of matches from somebody, you're going to remember the ones that weren't so good a lot more than you're going to remember the good ones.
Yeah.
Because we don't see him in matches a lot. So I have hope. I'm being hopeful that this will be good because Sami's good. You know,
I think this will be really good. I think something will come from this where we see a darker side of Sami Zayn. I said it last week. I see something brewing in Sami Zayn, a darker side that Cross is going to unleash.
And this is the thing. I do not think that he will job to Sami. I think that even if he loses, which I don't think is a good idea. If this is something that's going to continue beyond Night of Champions, I don't think that it's a great idea for Karrion to lose. However, I could see him having the same reaction to how he was after Sami punched him. Where he's like embracing it, like he's happy because, like you said, maybe we're going to see a darker side to Sami in this match. Like maybe he does a move or something like, oh my God, what? Sami did that? Or like he maybe gets disqualified. Like he just gets so fed up of what Karrion's saying that he like hits him with a chair, something like that, right? Like then Karrion is just going to embrace that and not care about technically getting the loss because he's gonna be like, this is what I've been asking for, this is what I've been saying that we need to see from you. So he would take it as a win, if that makes sense.
You would. I agree.
You don't think he'll get more matches if he puts on a good match?
That's nonsense.
Oh, he better put on a banger. Got it. Sorry, I read that wrong. I mean he's against Sami, so I would like to think that, you know, because of that, he has a good partner. So, and Sami understands what it's like to be the underdog. Obviously, that's like his entire character right now, but he's had to fight and, you know, claw his way to getting those moments that he has gotten, especially over the last few years. So I could see him totally wanting to help Karrion get more moments like this. You know what I mean? Like, I think he would genuinely care. So he would want to make sure that Karrion has a good showing, because he doesn't want to be a reason why he doesn't.
God, no.
You know,
no, he wants to put on a banger match. They're going to put on a good.
Yeah.
It's going to lead to something. Trust me.
I hope so, because I think that they could have a really compelling story, because they really have not dug into what Karrion is trying to do with the mind games and like the manipulation and whatever. We haven't seen a whole lot of that since he's done it with so many people. As we said, like when he's gone after certain people, they've kind of gone mad after that. We haven't seen really any of the reward for Cross in that regard. So I would like to see that with Sami, because Sami is so over and so loved by the fans that it's like, I feel that could be an interesting story for him to deal with those inner demons or whatever.
Yeah. He's been a good soldier for too long. Give him the spotlight.
Also, so we saw Becky Lynch versus Bayley for the Women's Intercontinental Championship, and we saw a moment between Bayley and Lyra before the match happened backstage, where Lyra was kind of just checking in with Bayley, like, are we cool? Whatever. Obviously, Lyra wasn't exactly thrilled that Bayley came back, jumped Becky, and then just immediately was getting an Intercontinental title match, because Lyra's like, wait, I didn't get my rematch yet. And Bayley assured her that, yeah, we're cool. Like, this has nothing to do with you. My beef is with Becky because of what Becky did. Like, you know, this has nothing to do with you. So when the match is happening, obviously Lyra gets involved, it causes a disqualification. And this, again, to me, predicting that this was going to be a triple threat.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be a triple threat.
Writing's on the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm so excited. I have no idea what's going to happen in that match. I don't know if that I don't know if Becky's going to retain, and then maybe we get something between her and Lyra or Bayley. Maybe Bayley wins, maybe Lyra wins it back. I have no idea. But they could easily have Becky retain at Evolution and then maybe have Lyra win at SummerSlam. I don't know. I have no idea what their plans are for Bayley.
I
So
don't know
it's
either.
hard to say. But regardless, I'm excited about this being a match in general.
I'm excited for this little triangle feud for the title. Actually legitimize the title and make something that you want to have because you're having a meaningful feud. And it doesn't seem like it's forced.
Mm-hmm.
Becky took out Bayley at WrestleMania and then Lyra went on, won the titles, all that stuff. Yeah, Bayley can get over that because she didn't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
She was just caught in the middle. But to have Lyra now interfere in the match and she didn't even realize, she let her emotions get to her type of feeling. I like that element to it. It makes it feel more organic.
More
if you are
human
going
for
to,
Lyra. Too.
Really, yeah, it really humanizes her too. So if you're going to do this for Evolution, why not go all in with it?
Yeah. Well, and I think that's the thing is like people were starting to connect with Lyra before she lost the title. So I do think it's important that they have her react the way that any person would react if someone jumped the line and like got the match, instead of her, and her responding to losing the title, especially to somebody like Becky Lynch, who she had never lost to. There's a potential for this to be super interesting because 2 of the 3 are supposed to be the good guys, and I think Becky is killing it as the bad guy. Like she's doing so good. So this could be a great match for what they're trying to do at Evolution. I at this point I would have no idea who would be walking out as champion, which is kind of nice, honestly.
It is nice. Don't you like that feeling of not knowing?
Yeah, for once in your life.
Great. It's so great.
Well, and I couldn't even argue what the best result would be. Like I have no idea. Like when we first were talking about this, we were like Lyra should go over. Like it makes sense. But I still need to see more between now and Evolution to kind of be like, okay, what is the best case scenario? Like I don't know. I really don't. So
I don't either.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see.
This is for you. Push, retire, fire. CM Punk, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns. I feel like it's funny to say push because like who the fuck out of these need a push? But
I got mine. I mean,
well,
I would go retire CM Punk after this year. I push Rollins, fire Reigns.
Yeah, easy.
That was tough. I hated to do that for my tribal chief, but
he says fire Punk, retire Reigns. So he just swapped yours. No. Yeah, I have thought about exactly. This motherfucker. Don't even get started. That's like my most controversial take, I guess, about wrestling right now is that Roman Reigns is overrated. His career is overrated. People want to say that he's the GOAT because of a title reign. It was a great part of his career, but let's not forget what he did before that. No one is talking about how many WrestleManias he main evented. No one is talking about those matches. Okay. No one is saying that any of his matches are one of the greatest of all time. So, here we go. Here's another one. He's saying push Punk, retire Reigns, fire. Micah.
Burning down.
Micah.
The Oracle.
I can't believe I just read that out loud. Wow. Okay, anyway, moving on. We did talk about this a little bit, or we hinted at it. We found out another star is injured with Chad Gable, which I guess he was kind of written off TV by Penta on Raw. But we also had the triumphant return of Ludwig Kaiser, which apparently got some people excited. And I was like, you know what? Again, get to the back of the line. Get to the back of the line. Okay.
Why couldn't he be taking over as El Grande Americano?
That's what people are saying.
I would have loved that.
The problem is he's much taller and he's
And
way leaner. Like he's got like this is what my sister said. Ludwig looks like he's got a swimmer's body. Like he literally looks like Michael Phelps. Like that's the type of
he
body
actually
he has.
does. That's a good point.
You
He
know,
really does.
like it looks like his workout is swimming. That's why he's so lean and whatever. But anyway, so the first part, Chad Gable and El Grande Americano are injured. He will be reportedly going into surgery for a shoulder injury. I don't know what it is. I don't know when it happened. I don't know anything. That's just the rumor that's going around right now. Very unfortunate timing for him. Like not that he was on top of the world or anything the way that he was, you know, when there was that feud with Gunther for the Intercontinental title. Like I'm not saying that, but obviously he had a match at Worlds Collide. He was then as El Grande in Money in the Bank. Like he's been doing stuff. So it seemed like okay, they're gonna keep going with this. I assumed that because we haven't really seen him too much since then. Maybe it was something that happened then, and it just sucks.
It sucks when these injuries happen. It really does. Between Liv and now Gable and his buddy, it's tough. I hate to see this.
Yeah. And now we have Kaiser, who was not injured, but he showed up in the back of this segment, which I assume means maybe we're going to get Kaiser versus Penta, which I'm like, hello, can we get that like every single week? Because Ludwig was very active in the Intercontinental title scene before Mania. That's why I thought he was going to be in that multi-man match. And of course he wasn't. But I like that he could be coming back and going against Penta. I think, I don't know. I'm intrigued by that. I feel like that's a great matchup. Their styles are very different. However, they've done really well in the ring together previously. And I think it's a good way to get Kaiser back on TV and like get people to care, you know, like, I don't know where he goes from there, but I was shocked that people were excited because I was like, where have you been, guys?
He has the potential to be such a major heel, not monster heel, like just like a dick heel, asshole, chicken shit heel.
Yeah.
And it would work because of his talents in the ring. So
yeah. So I'm excited because he's been on the shelf for far too long. So I'm like, come on, bring it back. McIntyre is alive as far as I know.
Alive.
I did see that he's injured or something, and that was why he was taking time off, but other reports were saying he was just taking time off. So I have no idea. I hope whenever he comes back that they push him to the moon. And I know that like I'm saying that about Drew McIntyre, and that's like saying it about John Cena or Cody Rhodes. I just feel like they've been putting McIntyre in situations to be really good, but they keep having him lose. So that's the problem. It's like he has the character of the year and he doesn't get rewarded for it. He has like the best feud of the year with CM Punk and then he loses the feud. Then he has this rivalry with Damian Priest and he loses the feud. It's like, it's just like, it's not doing anything for him. You know, he doesn't even get to go for the US title because he was supposed to be involved in that. So I just hope whenever he returns that they actually have a plan with him. I'm not super optimistic about it though. Kind of like you.
I'm way too optimistic.
Also, I have a Buick, and the Buick is good. The Buick is good. It is so comfortable. I will say that till the end of time. Did I say it to you a ton when we were like that? My car is so comfy.
No, it was very comfy.
Okay. Yeah, no, I say it like every time I get in my car and someone else is in there. I'm like, oh my God, my seats are so comfy. And they're like, shut the fuck up, Sarah. You say this every time. And I'm like, you guys do not understand how uncomfortable my last car was. Like I had a 2008 with cloth seats. That thing, I would be driving like 10 minutes to the store and I would be like fidgeting in the seat because it was so uncomfortable. So, anyway, on to the main event, which was Cody Rhodes versus Jey Uso, which had everybody split, including my nephew, who was like the biggest Cody Rhodes fan. Okay. Now he's telling me, breaks my heart, he likes Jey Uso more than Cody Rhodes.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, you're not my nephew anymore. That's what I said. No, I'm just kidding. But no, he's a big Jey Uso fan, so he was not happy that Cody Rhodes won this match. However, the match was fine. The bigger
Match was
story,
great. I thought they had a great.
the bigger story here, I would say, is I would say some of those moments in the match that Cody was kind of like going in, like reaching back into the like, wait a second, this is dashing Cody Rhodes. This is legacy Cody Rhodes. This is like bad guy Cody Rhodes from AEW. When he like got up after and he was like screaming, like he was so angry. It was like, okay, because you kind of thought this was just gonna be, like a typical like we're
You went full
buddies.
Hulk.
Yeah, you kind of just thought it was going to be like a buddy match because these are two baby faces, like, but it was good in that regard. But I think the main takeaway is we're finally getting Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton.
That's what I like to see.
Yeah.
That's what I'm very happy about.
Yeah, I think that was why it was kind of obvious that Cody was going to win. Like, I understand why people were saying, I want Jay to win, or I think Jay should win because they wanted him to, go on to King of the Ring or maybe even have a title shot again. But when you see that Cody Rhodes could face Randy Orton, you cannot pass on that.
It goes with what Randy has been saying. It doesn't matter who I have to stomp over to get my shot at Cena again and win my 15th championship. That Cody has that same mentality. In the history already, it could be more than just a King of the Ring finals match at Night of Champions.
You know what? So because we've seen this, and I was like, all right, I think Cody is going to win King of the Ring, and we're going to see Cody versus Cena at SummerSlam. What if we actually get Randy as King of the Ring? We already saw Randy versus Cena, and so we don't have to do that again necessarily, right? But we could do Randy versus Cena. Randy wins. Maybe he doesn't get cashed in on yet. And then we could get Randy as champion versus Cody. We could even get Randy versus Seth. And then that could also circle back to getting Seth versus Cody. I don't know. Just a theory. I would like to think there's something.
That's a lot thrown at me.
I would like to think there's something more coming than just like the predictable, Cody wins and then he goes on to face Cena at SummerSlam. But
we don't know where the story's going. That could be completely the plan, but Seth Rollins cashes in anyways. You really
don't think that he's gonna lose it? I see him losing it to a cash-in potentially.
That's what I
don't know.
Cena's not.
But see, the problem is Seth might not be the right guy to cash in on him though, because he's a heel. People might be happy that he takes the title off Cena, which is not the reaction. DS thinks he's holding that until Survivor Series. I don't know, man. I still think that Cena's going to retire a babyface. So
he is out. Yeah, I'm on that. I'm with you too.
Yeah, I know a lot of people don't. I think he will. I don't think he'll want to end like his WWE run as a bad guy. I think he'll want to be like, thank you, and whatever. But I don't know. Regardless, I still think it's like exciting, and I think that Cody versus Randy is something that we will revisit in the future, and this could be kind of like the beginning of that. Because I do think that an inevitable feud between these two does need to have more build up to this, and we do need one of them to be a legitimate heel because of their history together. We cannot see like good guy Cody versus good guy Randy. Like, that's not entertaining. It will be for Night of Champions, but it won't be for like a long-term feud.
Yeah, because there needs to be some sort of substance there.
There needs to be hostility between them. And it could be either one of them. It could be Cody like, I'm going after my old mentor, or Randy being like, I'm going after you because you came in here and you're not even grateful. You're taking all the spotlight. You're the champion when I deserve to be the 15-time world, like all that. It's like, it's so easy, but we just need to see more of a proper build up to that.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, that was Raw.
That was Raw, guys.
It was.
And we're on Wednesday, which means we'll be back on Friday for the Super Show. Lots to talk about. We got injuries happening. We got a PLE on Saturday that people are saying should be canceled, and we have to, other shit needs to go down. So yeah, my brain is fried after today. We had a long day.
Yeah.
Day. So be back on Friday, 7:00. All right. And in the meantime, go check out all our videos on the page. Hit that subscribe button and bell notification to know every time we go live. Check out that library of all the videos we posted already. Follow us on TikTok at No Nights Off Show, and on our personal social medias at Patty Pitts and S Marsh on Twitter, and at Patty Pitts on Instagram. Thank you guys for tuning in. God bless. Remember, you can do it. All you got to do is try. See you Friday.